What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and happy Saturday night to you. I'm Love Coach Scott Katamas. Question: what's your relationship to telepathy? Do you have periodic synchronistic telepathic moments? Are you experiencing certain people or certain animals in your life that you're telepathic with? You know, the rise of telepathy is extraordinary. And in this awakening world that we're all a part of, as we all are becoming more superhuman in different ways, telepathy is really happening. The Telepathy Tapes is one of the most popular podcasts ever. And I think it's creating a 100th monkey kind of a situation where more of us are going, oh, wow, we are telepathic. We can be telepathic. So it's making it safe. And we are really blessed because tonight we have several people with us that are pretty far along in the area of telepathy. And I want to start by thanking one of our great global peace drivers. The wonderful Lovolution is the here, Reverend Jeffree Colebrook, who helped put this together, along with our beloved friend Corina Angelo is back. And she's brilliant, as you know.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Corina, I'm so glad you're back with us. Thank you.
I am too. I'm excited.
And Toni Ghazi is back with us, and he's an amazing guy. Peter Roth is with us. I think this is his virgin outing on the awakening world. And Debbie Solaris is here. I've seen her speak at conferences, and Debbie, I was really excited when I saw that you were available to be joining us. And Dana Tomasino is back. And as you can tell from her background, it is World Water Day. We're going to be hearing about that. And Dana has put together a really special meditation for us. So that's going to be a fun way to close out our show tonight. And we also have a very special musical artist. Theo Grace is with us. And Theo was on the show back in the Saturday Night Alive days and was one of our most popular musical artists. And he is pinch hitting tonight for Omashar, who's off at a conference, but we do have an Omashar video. So these are our presenters, and we want to hear from you. It's going to be a good night for Q&A. So if you've got questions or experiences you want to share about telepathy, pop it in the chat box. And meanwhile, I am going to go to a video of Omashar that he sent us. He is performing live at a conference tonight. But I always love to, I know that we like to get the show off to a good start with Omashar music. So that's what we're going to do. But still move and groove, because what I'll do is I'll periodically go from the video to you guys moving and grooving and dancing. So here we go with Omashar.
flowers grow, dripping with dew, and rivers flow in sapphire blue. I suddenly know what a fall God I knew. I am a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. And when autumn sun kisses my cheek, whilst cool winds come from mountains peak, with poems on my tongue but no wish to speak, I am a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. Sweet water, when I give you my heart, I already start to feel better. My sweet water, won't you send me your love forever and ever and ever, forever and ever and ever. When tender hands trace memories where powdered sands meet temperate seas, I don't understand, but I love mysteries. I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. And when evening stars shine all around, my grieving heart's no longer down. And things that were lost, that's where true hope's found. I am a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. I'm a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. And sweet water, when I give you my heart, I already start to feel better. My sweet water, won't you send me your love forever and ever and ever? And sweet water, when I give you my heart, I already start to feel better. Oh, sweet water, won't you send me your love forever and ever and ever, forever and ever and ever. I am a tear that's lost fear of the ocean. I am a tear that's lost fear of the ocean.
We love that man. We do love that man. Thank you, Corina and Dana and Reverend Jeffree, for moving and grooving to the music. Um,
Nice.
and Jeffree, I'm going to leave you on, and we're going to bring on your partner, Peter. But again, thank you. You know, every time you bring on some of your friends from the International Space Federation or your other people, they're always wonderful. So tell us a little bit, what's the story on this particular group of friends? Are they all ISF people, or some of them are? Or?
We're all telepathic. We're just
come on.
telepathic. We're, just kidding.
No, Peter
I didn't interject.
I love to bring in my seniors that have all this years of wisdom. I don't have many people older than me, but my dear friend Peter is. And he has been he's interviewed everybody that's here on the show, pretty much except for Dana, but on his radio podcasts. And his podcast goes
Amazing.
shows and stuff. So when I knew Peter had interviewed all these people, I said, "Oh, great! Well, got to get Peter here because she's, he had a wonderful reading from Debbie, which you can talk about, and so this is, and of course, my thing, I can't stop talking about the telepathy tapes. I mean, I can't shut up about the telepathy tapes. And that's been so exciting to me to share it everywhere I go. And I'm so grateful to you, Scott, for allowing me to come here. I really, and I just get to work on helping this one little show. He does this twice a week. It just blows my mind what he's able to do. It's beyond, it's a miracle right there.
Mm. Well, thank you very much, Jeffree and Corina, for your beautiful enthusiasm and positive energy. And
You're
Peter, since you're new to the audience, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your podcast, and then a little bit about the whole telepathy thing.
I'm going to turn it over to Peter in 1 second. I just want to do one thing about the telepathy tapes, and it's a couple minutes. I'm going to read one quick, well, it's not quick, but quote from the telepathy tapes, and because that's all I have to say is what this guy said. And it's from Anthony. Anthony says, I am a futuristic human being. I came into this world with my eyes wide open. I'm a pure, transparent soul here to help humanity evolve. I remember what most people have forgotten, and I am in tune with vibrational frequencies and can match specific frequencies to access and to transfer thought forms into words. This ability also allows me to communicate interdimensionally aspects of my personality, actually travel through space in dimensions most people can visit only in their minds. They are as natural to me as your typical human stay is to you. I help people know who they are and prepare them for shifting their desires from the material to the etheric world where all creative ideas are birthed. My capabilities are vast and currently indefinable. I belong to the energy group of non-speaking souls working between dimensions. I descend and accept what is referred to as three-dimensional linear thought, yet I struggle with its limitations and restrictions. Matching specific frequencies allows me to access information and to transfer thought forms. Blending energy with me is the best way to share glimpses of my multidimensional perspective. Frequency adjustment is the key to interacting with them. Currently, most humans do not have the free access as we do. Each frequency is attuned to love. Love is eternal. Everything else is evolution caused by separation. Great changes occur when we join our souls as one. The highest human power is love. Spiritual evolution occurs when hearts are aligned in mass to create loving vibrations during all circumstances and all times. We got some work to do. Planetary upgrade is needed now. Future humans must be driven by their loving kindness. Love purely, love openly, without conditions. Love soulfully, feel God in every person. Kindness is the best way to evolve. Pause.
Thank you for sharing that, Jeffree. It's very, very beautiful. I think it definitely, I hear your enthusiasm and excitement as it represents, I think, where we're all going. So thank you for sharing that. I want to give Peter a chance to share.
Yeah, the rest is all Peter. I just wanted to share that. And I'm so glad Peter came because well.
Thank you, Jeffree.
All right. Thank you, Jeffree. That was great. Telepathy tapes are amazing. So I have a podcast called Energy Stew. It's been weekly for 19 and a half years. Used to be called a radio show. And I have amazing guests, and some of the top ones are here tonight. And I just love interviewing wonderful people. I also have a healing school, Heart River Center for Intuitive Healing, and I've been teaching telepathy for 28 years weekly. I didn't always call it telepathy. As a matter of fact, I've always called it dialoguing with the universe. because that's really what it is. We're all in dialogue. It's not just being intuitive and hearing and, oh, I hear this or that. It's actually having conversations with higher beings and other beings and the universal computer, which is also known as Akashic Records. And so many of us who are teachers of this understand how powerful it is to be able to tap in. And so that's what I've been teaching people for many years, to tap in. I've had very strange experiences in recent times because of purposes for humanity that I'm here for. I've kept myself alive. I had a reading from Debbie Solaris not long ago, and I found out that I'm an extremely old soul, and my other lifetimes on Earth haven't been that long, because my frequency is a little too high to fit into a human body. So I've hacked the system in this life. That's why I became a healer. And now I'm turning 83 shortly. So I'm very proud of that. And but I do have to work on it a lot. But in the meantime, because of my telepathic abilities, I get visitations. And they're from strange places. And one of the amazing places that I hear have visits frequently from is Inner Earth. And a lot of people don't know about Inner Earth, but now science is understanding there are cavities within the Earth that they don't know what's there, but there's 120 cities in Inner Earth. And a city near New York, actually, that specializes in light and sound. They've been visiting me regularly. I've had in the last year and a half, they have come to see me 80 times. And
Wow.
the reason for it is that they've given me an assignment. They've embedded signals in me to work with them to help them uplift humanity. And I'm not the only one with these signals. There are other people on the planet who they have been giving these signals to. So it's really important for us to do our work. They've told me not to go far from New York, because when I use these signals, they're going to be sent to a ball on top of the Empire State Building, a ball of energy that will then transmit it out far and wide. And so and the visits are amazing. Even just recently, about 2 weeks ago, I had a visit, and they put me into an altered state. And all of a sudden, I'm in a room with colored lights flashing, drums beating, and about 24 people whooping it up. It was a party. They brought me to a party, and it was so wonderful. So it's, it's not dry to work with Inner Earth. It's fascinating, and I love when they come and see me. I don't necessarily see them each time. I did see a woman at one point showed up in my room, and she was 8 feet tall, and she was beautiful. And but they come in. They make noises all around. I mean, all of a sudden there's slapping noises all around the room, and all of a sudden there are vibrations, and I get into a chill, actually. And then I know that I should start talking, and they'll start talking back to me, and we have these conversations. And they have a lot to teach, a lot to talk about. They've taught me a lot about their civilization and how they're helping, wanting to help us. They can't come up here because our frequency is too deep, too dense, and they can't survive well in this density. And we can't go down there unless we're of higher density. And they actually want me to visit them, and so they have even raised my frequencies more. So at some point, I'm hoping that they'll bring me down.
So let me ask you a few questions, Peter. First of all, it's amazing to meet you, and congratulations on living as long as you have. I think that's very wonderful. What are some tips that you could give for the people in our audience, since you've been teaching telepathy for a long, long time, and I understand that we can only get a little homeopathic dose of your medicine, but what are some first steps that people can take to increase their telepathic abilities?
The biggest first step is to ask. You know, you need to put it out there. You know, show me, tell me, I want to hear from you, and then quiet down. And it's really about emptying our minds, because we can't be trying to think it. It just shows up, and it's an automatic. It's just, you know, you're in conversation, and you can't get in your own way. So the idea is to be really free and not force it. There can't be any force to this. It has to be just surrender to what shows up. And who knows, because, you know, I'm working with Inner Earth. I have another group I'm working with that I can tell you about. And it's very strange. And who knows who will show up to all of you. You know, it's a big universe. And you don't know what to expect. But you have to ask to
And when you
receive.
say ask, what do you mean by ask? Like, you asking
Put it out
God?
there. Please show up for me. I'm ready for you. I'm empty. I'm ready and I'm empty. And I have no high, I guess no low expectations. I have high expectations. So I don't want to get in my own way. I just want to surrender and allow. And all of a sudden, there are going to be energies. There's going to be movement. And all of a sudden, you might hear voices, as I've heard many times, and in ways that are powerful. And it's like, okay. And you learn to listen. You really have to learn to believe and not second guess yourself. And so I was very surprised one night, about a year and a half ago, when all of a sudden I had these holographic geometries swarming through my room. And it's like, what are you? Who are you? And I was told that they are an intelligence from another universe, and they've come to introduce themselves to me. I said, so what's up? You know, and eventually they've said that they are from a sound verse, and that they are experts at central suns, and they will work on our central sun and our planet to help it. They also soon will be sending inaudible sound, healing sounds, to about 300 people on the planet, chosen by the strength of their astrological, their astrology. And those healing sounds will then be emitted as inaudible healing sounds to help heal all animal life on the planet. And I have to say, because this is World Water Day, that I asked them, so how about under the sea? And they said, oh, we have that covered. We've chosen 8 whales for that. So they'll be given these inaudible sounds and heal animal life in the sea. And so I get lots of visitations from this. I say intelligences because they come in swarms of geometries and sometimes wings flapping around my room without bodies. So it's really amazing to be in this experience of other realms and be open to it. And I'm flattered, you know. And I asked the intelligence from another universe, why did they choose me? And they said, because of my tone. And I said, what is that tone? And they said, it's Andara. And I don't know, probably a lot of people know of Andara crystal, which is the most powerful crystal on the planet. And 25 years ago, I am the person who discovered Andara crystal on a ranch out near Mount Shasta. And I've had many, many pounds of it in my apartment in New York City over the years. And I guess that has influenced my tone. So, so I recommend there are a lot of ways to raise frequency. And I really think also to become more telepathic, we want to keep our frequency high. And that's like, let's say that's on the level of consciousness on the Hawkins scale, 1 to 1,000. And what are the higher frequencies? They're all frequencies of universal love. That's really what high consciousness is about. So the more that you can find yourself living a life of universal love, the more open you'll be to telepathy.
Right. Well, yeah, you're an extraordinary person. It's amazing to meet you, Peter. Please put into the chat box where people can find your podcasts.
Sure.
And, we're going to take people on a series of journeys tonight, as Peter said. And I think, there's the common thread through many of our shows that it's basically all about coming into heart coherence, being loving, raising our vibration. These are the themes that we hear over and over and over from so many of our speakers. And we have so many amazing people to hear from tonight, and looking forward to hearing some of their tools, some of their practices, so that we can all raise our vibration. And to raise our vibration, music and meditation is a wonderful way to do it. And I'm so delighted that Theo Grace is with us because, first of all, he lives it, let's face it, think about our favorite musical artists on this show, Omar Shar, Kristen Hoffman, Larissa Stowe. They're very high vibration beings, who they are as human beings are high vibe. Theo is also at a very, very high level of vibration. You can just feel it when you talk to him. And certainly in a moment, you're about to hear his sound, his music, his meditation. So Theo's put together something very special just for tonight. So Theo, the spotlight's on you. Tell us, go ahead and take a little time. Tell us about your inspiration and how this came together, and then what we're about to experience.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. It's so good to be here. So good to be back. I've been on a long journey, probably at least 13 years of exploring frequency and sound and music production and how to bring in these healing tones into music from the sort of infinite world of nature and hearing in the real world. But there's something that happens when we digitize a signal and we squeeze it into a computer and ones and zeros. And so it's been a deep contemplation of like, how do we get the most benefit and the most healing frequencies? And there's, a lot about 528 and 432, and there's a lot of stuff out there. So I've been researching it, and I came across some really interesting research recently about 40 hertz. And John Stuart Reid, who invented the cymoscope, I'm just going to share my screen here. John Stuart Reid invented the cymoscope. So these beautiful images that appear in water. And he's actually got an amazing course out. I just got to pitch it because I got some of my information from him. So I want to credit him for that. He's got an amazing course coming out on the Shift Network. And I listened to his presentation, and I put a bunch together about 40 hertz and 432 hertz, and I found this alignment where it harmonically all connects with 432, 40 hertz, and all these, sometimes you go on YouTube and you could listen to a single tone and it's like, and it's not, for me, it's not very enjoyable to listen to a singular sine wave tone. So what I like to do is create these meditations and layer the harmonics and get as much of that in one beautiful, like enjoyable listening experience as possible. And so I created a meditation that's it's 20 minutes long. If you go to my Patreon page, you can get the whole meditation, and I can post that link in the chat. But what we're going to do today, and I want to encourage you to tone to this meditation, So let me know actually if you can hear this sound. See if this plays. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm just gonna pause it. Oh, if you can hit that tone or something like it, something close to it. Apparently this 165 hertz is something that resonates with the pineal gland. And just singing alone definitely activates the vagus nerve, which relaxes the nervous system, and it releases endocannabinoids. So it's beautiful to tone to music as much as you can, or just sing around the house. And I'm a big proponent and promoter of people singing all day long, because you're generating your own relaxing neurotransmitters, and you're also relaxing your nervous system. So we're just going to do a quick little, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. How much time would be good, Scott?
Take as much time as you like.
Okay.
This is going to be very special, I can tell.
Yeah, let's do 3 minutes, and maybe 333, just to round it to the nearest magical number. And we're just going to tone. And if you can hit that note of whoo, I recommend really hanging out on that one, because that's going to resonate with your pineal gland. And also play with closing your teeth and opening, the cavity in your mouth, and feeling the vibration in your head, and almost send it into your pineal gland, and really put your awareness there, and set the intention to open that, and to listen while you're singing, to your soul, to your spirit, and to these benevolent forces that are around us all the time. So here we go. We got some whales in there too, dear friends, because it's water day. So one of the things John Stewart Reed has found is that these deep bass tones really help regulate and are really beneficial. So there's a 20-minute meditation that I'm just going to share in the chat that you can find on my Patreon page. And I'd love for you to join that and support. I just got to share that. I'll share it after. Thank you for participating. Thank you for joining. I'll be back later with a song I'm going to share. And yeah, thank you, Scott.
I muted myself because I didn't want people hearing me toning away. I'd love for people to put into the chat box what they experienced. And we're going to have a good Q&A period kind of towards the end of the show. And so if you've got questions, and I'm seeing some questions coming in about what Theo's been talking about and sharing with us. So feel free to put, if you want to answer some of them in the chat box, you can, Theo, or if you notice that they're kind of consistent ones, feel free to, answer them when we do our Q&A towards the end of the show.
Sure, be happy to.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, well, we are going to go to Debbie Solaris, who is someone that I've actually always enjoyed. I've heard her speak several times at conferences. In November, when we did our show, she was a part of that. And not the Unity Now show that we did on 11/11. And Debbie, I'm trying to find you in the Zoom room here. There you are. Thank you. Hi, Debbie.
Hey, hello. It's good to join you all, and thank you for this wonderful experience. I'm really enjoying the tonings and all the music and all the high vibrations here. So it's really helping me a lot as well. I'm going to first share like a little bit of my experience with telepathy and how I use telepathy in my work today. And then at the end, I'm going to do a very short, but hopefully effective little galactic telepathy meditation that I wrote especially for this this event today. So hopefully you all will enjoy it. Because a lot of times when I come on these events, people want me to do readings, and I'm kind of trying to get away from doing readings for other people. I still do readings all the time, and I'm happy to do them, but I feel like we're at the point right now in our evolution where we can tap into this information ourselves. And so I'm going to help you guys do that at the end of my little section here. So my first foray into telepathy started in 2012. And it wasn't anything that I ever thought I would ever experience. I actually had not just one, but two extraterrestrial contact experiences in 2012, where I went from being a totally unawakened person to a totally awakened person after these experiences. And so basically, I'll just give you the brief rundown of what happened. So I went to sleep one night. This was in May 2012. And when I came to, I found myself in another reality where it was well beyond a dream. When you're in higher dimensional realities, everything's more intensified as far as the vibration. You're feeling like, hey, all the details are a lot sharper, the colors are more brilliant. And so it's not a dream at this point. And I found I was inside in an extraterrestrial starship. And the ship itself kind of led me to this room where there was not just one, but 4 or 5 extraterrestrial beings waiting for me, which I later found out were Arcturians from Arcturus. And so when I first encountered these beings, I wasn't afraid, mainly because they emit a lot of love energy. So when you're encountering benevolent beings, you're going to be bathed in love. And so you don't even have room to be fearful or to be scared or anything like that. But what happened was I was trying to formulate questions in my head to ask them because I didn't know who they were and I didn't know what I was doing and or where this place was. And as I was formulating these questions in my head, I was thinking, do they even understand English? Um, and they said yes in my head. And I was like, what? And even before I finished asking these questions in my head, they were answering my questions. And it was like they could even, it wasn't just that they heard the questions in my head as you would if you're telepathically communicating with someone, but they were able to anticipate exactly what I was going to ask even before I had time to finish the questions. So this is the power of telepathy, and telepathy transcends language barriers. It transcends differences in vibration. It transcends misunderstandings. And what I found, when I was on board the starship with these Arcturian beings who told me that the reason why I was there was because I was part of their family and I'd forgotten my mission. And they felt like I was at the point during that time in 2012 where I was ready to reconnect with them. And so I found, just through, my um, telepathic communication with them, that they weren't only communicating, I would say, kind of clairaudiently, but also through clairsentience and clairvoyance. So I was receiving images, I was receiving understanding of things that I had no understanding about previously. So it was quite an intense experience, so I was just really overwhelmed. And I learned a lot during my time on board the ship. And I did have not just one, but two experiences on board this same ship. The second experience was in December 2012. And it was the same starship, but I was communicating with Pleiadian beings. And they were telling me telepathically that they were having a hard time holding me there because there was too much of a difference between my vibration and theirs. So they had to really kind of boost my vibration for me to be there, even just for a few minutes. And they shared some personal information for just mainly about my family and certain individuals that were part of my inner circle. And then that transmission ended. So the thing that I think amazed me about telepathy mainly is transcending the, just the barriers that we often find with verbal language. So verbal language is sometimes very limiting, especially when you're here on Earth, and a lot of people speak different languages, and maybe we don't know all the languages, and so that's the beautiful thing about telepathy is that we can move past that. So that was my first introduction to telepathy. But then I had what I found after these experiences that I had was that because I was in a higher dimensional realm, back in 2012, it was like my extrasensory perception just expanded after that. So I was finding that all of a sudden I had abilities that I never had before. And I was able to see UFOs all the time. I was able to telepathically communicate with UFOs. I mean, this was amazing. I'll tell you one story of a time when and it's a very short story, but I was driving down I-25. I was coming from Colorado Springs back home to Castle Rock, where I live. And Corina knows where I live because she lives just, I think, 15 minutes north of me in Castle Pines. So I was driving back home and I saw some ships. in on the eastern part of the highway, and they looked cylindrical. They were kind of golden in color, and I noticed that they were erasing some of the chemtrails. And so, and the way I even saw the ships was I kept hearing my name being said in my head. And I kept hearing my name, and I was like, where is this coming from? And then they said, look up. And so I looked up and I saw the starships, and I was amazed because I was just like, wow, where did these come from? And I I don't know why I formulated this question in my head, but I asked them, "Are you here to help us or are you here to hurt us?" And they said, "We're here to help you." And then they started erasing the chemtrails. And I started crying at that point because I just felt this really loving intention that they wanted to help us clean up our environment and, just have at least an opportunity to ascend, without all this, toxicity and interference, from, the powers to be here on this planet. So that was another telepathic experience I had. The other thing I started noticing too was that I was starting to download a lot of information. Like I was just getting constant downloads about galactic history, galactic energies, galactic races, their history, their culture, and even different star systems that I never even knew about before. So this is where telepathy can even transcend just communicating with each other, where we can have telepathic communication with the Akashic records or with higher level information that's coming from the universe. And so that was another instance where I was starting to work more and more with telepathy. Um, I do have a story, and this is kind of, I think, a story a lot of people can relate to because I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big coffee lover. I love coffee. I never hesitate to have a coffee break whenever I get a chance, especially if I'm working hard. And this was when I was still working. I was still working my job in Colorado Springs, and I happened to find myself in downtown Colorado Springs, and I saw a Starbucks, and I thought, okay, that looks like a cool place. I'm just going to go there and grab a cup of coffee. And when I went into the Starbucks, this was, I think, just like a year or so after I had my extra terrestrial contact experience. So I went into the Starbucks and I noticed I was hearing everybody's thoughts all at once. So this was a busy Starbucks. I mean, it was at least 50 people in this Starbucks. I mean, they were pretty busy. And I was hearing everybody's thoughts, and I got overwhelmed because I was just like, wow, what's going on here? And the thing that I noticed that really disturbed me about having telepathic connections with all these individuals, all these strangers that I didn't know, was that most of the individuals were having very negative thoughts. So, mostly about themselves, but also about maybe their bosses or their spouses, or maybe they were angry at somebody. And this was very disturbing to me, and I didn't want to hear it anymore. So I ran out of the Starbucks. I never did get my cup of coffee, but I ran out of the Starbucks. And as I was passing people down the street in downtown Colorado Springs, I was hearing their thoughts. I was even seeing images of their vacations or images of things they were thinking about. And this and it felt intrusive to me at the time, so I ended up just asking my guides to help me shut it down. And there was a big lesson in all of this. So you might be asking, okay, why would you want to shut down your telepathic abilities? It wasn't so much shutting down my telepathic abilities as far as utilizing it, for my work or for my connection with my star family or other high dimensional beings, but I just felt like that regular humans were just not at the point yet where we at least this was back in 2013 or 2014. So at that point, I just felt like, humans were not quite ready for telepathic communication yet. Because what happens with telepathy is when you share a thought or you have an emotion, or you're just, experiencing whatever it is that you're experiencing, and you're connecting with everybody else, you it kind of spreads. So if somebody's having a bad thought or a bad negative experience or a negative emotion, it spreads. And so the lesson in this for me was that, humanity has to get into love consciousness before we can truly have a telepathic community. Now, I do believe, there's been quite a few years that have passed since I had that experience, that we are moving towards that love consciousness. And we are, as we speak right now, many of us are getting our telepathic abilities turned on, that we're connecting with each other. I connect with Corina all the time because, like she was saying before, I ended up sometimes I'll think about Corina and then she'll just text me out of the blue.
Yeah.
And then and then
And vice versa. It's amazing. I love it. I love
yeah,
it.
and then, or I'll be thinking of something and then, she'll just, I don't know, email me or call me. And so Karina and I know each other pretty well. So as a matter of fact, I think some people even say we look like sisters, even more so than my real sister,
Yep.
yeah. Karina's
I
met my
love
real
it.
sister too. So,
People have actually come up to me in conferences and like, "Oh, are you Debbie's sister?" Like, yeah.
yeah,
It's
we
so
are,
funny. I love it.
so
We're soul
yeah,
sisters.
we're soul sisters. Yeah. So, so it's kind of cool that we are moving towards this expansion of our abilities, and that we do have this capability of telepathy. Another instance I want to share with you guys. I have two more little stories I want to share, and then I want to get into my meditation because I know my time here is really limited, and I want to be honoring everybody else's time. But one of the cutest little stories that where I was learning how to be telepathic was when I was doing animal assisted therapy work. So for a long time, and you can read my story about my cat Piglet on my website. I think it's in the about section. So you can just read my story about Piglet. So Piglet was my little hairless Sphinx cat. And I actually adopted her kind of later. She was a retired breeding cat. So they used her for breeding. But what I noticed about Piglet when I first adopted her, she was already 8 years old. So she was kind of getting up there in age. And what I noticed about her was her wonderful demeanor, that she was not afraid of people, and she would just hang out at parties and events, and she was just like a human, just hanging out. And she had like extreme self-awareness for a cat. And so I immediately thought, wow, she would make a great therapy cat. And so she and I went through training with the American Humane Association, and we got certified. And we did a lot of work with Alzheimer patients in the beginning. We actually worked quite a bit with the military. So we did the Wounded Warrior Project, we did the Fallen Heroes Families therapy groups. I mean, Piglet was all over the place. She was a true healer. And what I noticed was when we would go do these volunteer sessions where we would visit the nursing home, or to work with the kids at the library, or work with the soldiers, that Piglet and I had this instant communication between us. It was like we weren't speaking, but I could always tell when she wanted to move on to the next person, or if she was tired, she would let me know. She would let me know what was going on with that person. So we had, a lot of times, if I was in the hospital visiting patients, I couldn't ask people why they were there, but Piglet knew and she would let me know. So we kind of had this telepathy going on. So this was an early foray into me learning telepathy. And so I always joke now that every time I try to send out a telepathic message, that the only beings that respond to me are usually cats and birds. So whatever the local birds are, or the cats in the area, they're the only ones that will always respond back when I try to send out a telepathic message. Now that's changing, okay? So that was the case, for quite a few years. But what I'm finding more and more now is that I'm thinking about somebody like Corina or one of my other friends or my husband, and they pick up on it, and I think that's a really beautiful thing, and it's showing just how much we've evolved and changed in the last few years. And I think it's just going to get even more expansive and beautiful as we expand further. The main area now where I use telepathy, so I have a running conversation every single day with my star family. So I'm an Arcturian starseed. I connect with the Arcturian collective. I know Toni on here, he connects with the Ontarian collective, and he has a direct connection with them, and he does beautiful channeling work. So I'm always happy to be on events with Toni. So Toni and I represent the two major stargates of the galaxy. So I represent Arcturus, and Toni represents Antares, so you have two Stargate people here tonight, sharing this with you. But what I love about the work that, we all get to do together is that we get to share how we use telepathy with our individual gifts. So Toni uses it with his connection with channeling. I use it in connecting with the Akashic records. So the Arcturian beings are actually the keepers of the Akashic records, because the Akashic records are used a lot in the Arcturus Stargate to process souls in between death and before their next incarnation. And so Arcturians and Arcturian starseeds, we have a natural connection to the Akashic records. And actually all of us can connect with the Akashic records. And so the connecting with the Akashic records is a form of telepathy. It is a beautiful opportunity to strengthen our clair gifts, whether it be clairvoyance or clairaudience, or clairsentience, claircognizance, and we get to telepathically connect with the Akashic guides, with our higher self, with our clients' guides, if we're working with a client. And so I love that we're all utilizing telepathy every single day in utilizing our gifts, whether it be healing somebody, doing what some people do with Reiki or energy healing or sound frequency healing. It's all different forms of telepathy. And so, so I'm happy, that I'm able to utilize telepathy every single day. Actually, my guides once told me, this was a few years ago, they told me telepathically, it's time to buy a house. And I was like, what? I have a house. And they said, no, you got to buy a new house. And I was like, really? And what was interesting about that whole experience was that neither my husband and I were talking about buying a new house, but we thought, okay, yeah, I think we're kind of outgrowing our current house. I think we're just going to see what the market shows. And within a week, we found our new house and put a bid on it, and our bid was accepted, and our offer was accepted. And we ended up, closing on the house. And what was interesting about my guides being so insistent about me buying the house was that just before, right after we closed, so we were able to get in with low interest rates. But right after we closed, the interest rates shot up. So that was during the time, I think it was right around 2021. So that's when the interest rates really started getting high. So the timing was perfect. So telepathy can help us with a lot of different things. I know I only have a few minutes left, so I'm going to go ahead and get into my galactic telepathy meditation. This is only about 5 minutes long, so it's a short meditation. But I wanted to share this with all of you because I do find that it helps us to develop our own capacity for telepathy, and it opens up those channels so that we can tap into the Akashic records. We can tap into our soul origination or our past lives, or even mundane information like buying a house or a car. So it just helps us every day to have that higher level connection. So I want to invite you all just to kind of get still, get settled into your chairs, do some deep breaths in, deep breaths out, and follow along with me as I share this beautiful but very short meditation with you. This is called the Galactic Telepathy Meditation. Begin by finding a quiet space where you can sit or lie down comfortably. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in and out. Let your body relax and your mind settle. Take another slow breath in. And as you exhale, imagine a golden light surrounding your body, calm, warm, and protective. This light forms a sphere around you, creating a safe and sacred space. Now bring your awareness to the center of your forehead, your third eye. Visualize a soft indigo light glowing there. With each breath, this light becomes brighter, opening your inner sight, your telepathic receiver. Gently bring your attention to the stars above you. Imagine a beautiful stream of starlight pouring down from the cosmos, entering through your crown chakra and filling your entire being with pure, high-frequency light. Silently set your intention. I am open to loving, benevolent galactic communication. I receive only messages of light, wisdom, and peace. Feel your energy begin to shift, tuning into a higher frequency. You may sense a presence, perhaps a galactic guide, a star family member, or a being of light. Simply notice what you feel. You may receive images, thoughts, sensations, or even emotions. Trust what comes. If a message begins to form, receive it without judgment. You are safe. You are held. You are connected. Rest here for a few more moments, allowing yourself to receive. You don't need to force anything. Telepathy often speaks in whispers. When you are ready, thank any beings or energies that have joined you. Slowly return to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes and take a deep breath in and out. Take another deep breath in and out. And one more deep breath in and out. And when you are ready, open your eyes. You are now grounded and connected with the stars and with yourself. I hope that was helpful. Thank you all for having me here. It's been amazing just to join with this beautiful family. I can't wait to hear Theo's beautiful song and everybody's sharings, Toni and Corina and everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. And
Thank you, Debbie. And before you go, I just want to let people know how they can find you.
yeah.
And your website is your name. Debbie.
Yeah, it says Debbie Solaris, real simple.
There it is. And you had mentioned, finding Piglet on your website, but I couldn't find her.
You might want to go on the menu in the About section.
Okay, let's see if we can, because people were asking about that. They were saying,
Yeah, I know people love Piglet.
Okay.
She's no longer with us, but
oh,
yeah,
here we go, tribute to
yeah,
Piglet.
tribute to Piglet. Yeah, there you
There
go.
it is.
Yeah.
Okay, there were people
there's
know
Piglet.
about
Yeah.
Piglet. And there's a lot of comments that came in. When we get to the Q&A part, I want to move things forward, but to the Q&A part, there's quite a few questions people came in about astral travel, how that's connected to telepathy, and people want to know more about your telepathic connection with your husband and with Corina. So we'll kind of get to that when we get to the Q&A.
Sure. I'll be hanging out here, so I'll put the mute back on. But
all right.
all
Thanks,
right,
Debbie. It's great to
Thank
have
you.
you.
Take
Great to
care.
have you with us. Thank you. Hey, I just want to remind everybody that now is a great time to subscribe to the Global Peace Tribe. Of course, all the people in our Zoom room are current subscribers. Our new season begins next week, actually in 10 days. And that's the spring season. And we've got great stuff planned. I'm going to be coming to you from several different festivals and events, the Evolutionary Leaders Circle Conference in Santa Barbara, Illuminate Film Festival, also in Santa Barbara, New Living Expo. So we'll be coming to you from some of your favorite fairs and festivals. We've got great interviews coming up. Marianne Williamson's going to be back with us. So please do register. Now, I know a lot of you right now are watching on Facebook and on YouTube. Welcome. It's great to have you there. I want to thank the Sign Network for getting us out to as many as 150 Facebook groups and pages for all of our shows. And hello to Alan Steinfeld and his YouTube channel and Conscious Awakening Network, Community Rising, all of our broadcast partners. You know what? It's really fun to be in the Zoom room. There's so much chat going on. I haven't been able to keep up with how much chat's going on in the chat box. And that's where you can interact directly to our presenters. Next week, we'll have several psychics and healers from Soul Search, and they do readings for the people in the Zoom room. So come and join the Global Peace Tribe. And it's really, really easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com. globalpeacetribe.com. That'll take you to our page. You can see all about our upcoming shows and learn more about us. And then just click register for the new season. That'll take you to our registration page. It literally takes about a minute. There's different levels that you can come in at, as low as $22. And you'll get all the Zoom room links for all of our shows for now, all the way till the end of June. And we've got a lot of shows. We always do a show on Wednesday and Saturday night. We also do Secret Sunday shows and special events. So come and join us. All right. And thank you. And I want to thank all of our current subscribers for being with us. It really makes a big, big difference. And of course, we've become this beautiful community where everybody kind of knows each other and we care about each other and we keep track of each other. So come be part of this beautiful, truly global Peace Tribe family that has evolved. One last announcement to just remind people, you want to join because we're going to have a big anniversary celebration. 2 weeks from tonight, Saturday night, April 5th, will be our 5-year anniversary. 5 years from when we first started our very first show that Deborah Giusti and I did. There was this pandemic thing going on, and some of you were with us, and a lot of you have been with us for a long, long time. So make sure you're with us to celebrate that in 2 weeks. All right, I'm really excited because Toni Ghazi is with us. I first met him through Soul Search. He was one of our Soul Search people. And Toni, we still do once a month through Soul Search. And it's just been amazing watching how your career has taken off. You've become like famous or infamous or something like that.
All of the above. Click D, right? The option D. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Scott. Also, thank you for Debbie, Peter, Corina, Theo, Reverend Jeffree, and oh God, if I missed anybody else, I'm so sorry. And the rest of the people here. Yes, my transition, I guess I would say, has been exponential. I was totally asleep until COVID came, and I woke up. So I grew up in Lebanon. I'm Lebanese, and I moved to Washington, D.C., like where I live, when I was 15 years old. Didn't speak any English, and I've always stuttered. So you're gonna hear the word you're gonna hear the word like a lot, because it helps me transition. And it helps me kind of bridge. And it makes sense telepathically, like speaking of telepathy, and here comes the stuttering, is that I've always felt there's like so much energy coming through me that my physical body isn't able to like to cope with such flow of information. But when I channel, when I kind of leave my body, I'm like fluent as a bird. And it was the first time 3 years ago, or like 2.5 years ago, when I first began channeling, is where I really experienced what channeling is. And when I realized I didn't stutter for the first time in 43 years, because I just turned 45 last week, or on Monday, on the 17th. That's all I needed, like to know whatever just happened to me, like whatever I just did, that I call channeling is real. And because I've tried for years and years and years, like not to stutter. School was I mean, I loved learning, but I hated going to school because I would get called on. And like we went to a French system where everything is oral, like in Lebanon. You have to speak, you have to recite, you have to read. And of course, for a stutterer, is like, that's the last thing you want to do. So it was quite traumatic. But now I see it like from the autistic aspect, right? Because we're talking about the telepathy like tapes, is that like they don't speak, because it also could be perhaps that there's so much flow coming in that like verbal talk is like so antiquated to the new consciousness and the new energy that they can be and allow like themselves to, like in a sense, like to swim in, right? So the act of like being physical, or like the decision to be physical in this physical vessel, isn't able to contain or like process you know, all of those energies. So God, there's so much to share with you. I only have 15 minutes. So I'm like, I'm kind of feeling like under the gun. But my life has exponentially exploded. And truly part of it, because I have surrendered into the unknown, like what I'm realizing now. Because Debbie Solaris was the first person. Okay, so I had a past life regression a year after, I would say, I began awakening, and I saw like the praying mantis beings, and like those are the beings that I channel like through the Antares Stargate. But then I was waiting for Debbie Solaris because she's booked like 2-3 years out like ahead, and I don't know how long I had to wait for her, but I'm like, yes, I have a session. And she's the first person ever that confirmed what I experienced. And after her session, I just flew off the edge, driving around Washington, D.C., just telling everybody that I speak to insectoid beings, I emanate from the insectoid world, and da 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 da. I mean, look, I'm a realtor, okay, and I sell real estate. I still do. So, like me selling real estate, and like, you know, and I'm good at it, and I have like a lot of clients. But like for me to also talk about the fact that I speak to insectoid beings, like to them, who oftentimes they're not as expanded in terms of consciousness, and they're very in the 3D world, really tells you that what I experienced was real and was so valid and so like visceral that I could not like not shake it, like to the point that I placed a massive decal on the back of my car that says I channel extra dimensional beings, and I have Bigfoot, and I have aliens, and I have praying like praying mantis insects. And look, I've been a realtor for 15 years. Not one time have I placed on the back of my car that I can help you like sell a home. But all of a sudden, I feel called to place that I'm an extra dimensional being, and that I speak to aliens, da 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 da. So after I did that, it was my declaration, like to the universe, that I am more than what I thought I was, right? Because look, we're suppressed in so many ways. We're suppressed culturally, like we're suppressed through education. We're suppressed like with our own stories. We're suppressed through the government, through marketing, suppression. You have to be like this, you have to be like that. You cannot do this, in the should, and the woulds, and the coulds, and the whatever. Limitation after limitation after limitation. Well, that declaration was, I feel like truly going back is truly like the thing that opened up my energy center to allow myself to be the more that I am. But then I didn't know who I really was. I was still having an identity crisis. Like, is this real? Is this not real? You know, Like, am I schizophrenic? Am I faking it? All these like dialogue in like your mind as you're expanding and like becoming more, you do doubt. But when you surrender into really knowing that this is like who you are, magical world opens. And yes, my world has been crazy. I've been channeling with Bashar, like all these big boys, like what I call them, have been in this industry for 40 years. And here comes Toni Ghazi, just woke up a year and a half ago on stage with them channeling. Really tells you the complete surrender. And truly, 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 I'm not doing it for others. I'm really doing it like for me to allow myself the opportunity to fall into the more of who I am. But how can I know who I am unless I fully surrender? So like through the praying mantis beings, and it's all telepathic communication. And even as I say like telepathy, it's an antiquated way of us trying to understand like the more, because through them, I'm able to be conscious, and I'm able like through my channeling sessions to experience things that words really cannot describe what I just experienced. They just can't. You have to become that experience to allow yourself like to be it. So through that dialogue like with them, they really allowed me to understand that we are intelligence, we are consciousness, and we don't comprehend what we are saying. And they have said clearly this year that we live on the surface of the words, right? So we say, oh, like we're love and we're consciousness and I'm one and I'm this, all these nice, like, you know, caressing things, I'm being good person, that, but we're not comprehending what we are really saying. When you say, I am one with all, that means you love everyone, everyone unconditionally. Humanity conditionally still loves, but through the whole experience of like expanding and of learning, we get to experience that love comes in infinite ways. There is no destination where love is love and I've reached unconditional love. There is none of that, because we are infinite beings. We always live. There's no death to begin with. That the more that we allow ourselves to experience the all and the new and the different and the ones that we like we're told like not to do, like for example, right, all of like the suppressed aspect like of us, allows us a new experience to find out more of who we are. So even the idea of telepathy, like to me, like feels a bit an older way of understanding what communication is, because in our minds, communication has been described. Like, you know, I hear things, like I speak things, like through sound, like through this. There's color frequency. There's like sacred geometrical aspect of communication. There's ways of like communication our minds cannot conceive of or comprehend within the infinite, that only gets discovered when we really surrender into not knowing what we're surrendering into. Because the act of limiting ourselves and saying that, oh, I'm only going to surrender if I know A, B, C, and D, like what's going to happen next, like what's the next step? Well, that's limitation. It's not allowing you to fully like fall into the fullness of who you are. So even as like we speak, like from like the idea of like telepathy and those kids, it's really not about the kids, because the kids are already communicating in their own way beyond limitation. It's an invitation for us, the people that like don't believe, that have been suppressed, that like live in limitation, to begin understanding that our world and like communication is more than what we think of. It's beyond like even the mind. It's actual consciousness. It's this live intelligence that is always creating and like co-creating like with others and with everything around us, with the rivers, with the wind, with the leaves, with the moon, with the sun, with like the galaxies, with humans, with animals, with like with the mountains, with everything like around us. So when we walk out, like, you know, out of our house and view our world from a different lens, like from a lens that I am surrounded by ascended masters, all of those beings that are like in front of me, humans and the rock and the road and the car, all of it is consciousness, all of it is intelligence. We only experience as separate from us and as an object and as a physical object because of the lens of which we like in a sense decided through our ascended mastery that we're going to witness our world through this limitation, and through that lens we experience separation, right? So even the idea of telepathy, and here comes the stuttering, we need to break out of the paradigm. So I've been calling myself the breaker of like paradigms. So like, I've been doing my nails, like, I've been wearing dresses on stage, and I think like Corina like witnessed one of my stage presence, and it's not because I'm like, I'm called like to do these things. I'm reminding myself that I am creation. If I say that I'm creation and I'm the all, the only way that I can experience the all is to be the all, because by surrendering into the all, it invokes in me the aspect of me that's this color, or the dress, or a goddess, or a god, or a telepathic like communicator, right? So truly like challenge yourself to begin like seeing like your world from a different lens, right? Because we have been so ingrained, we have been so like brainwashed that our world is like what it is, right? So in order for you to like truly like break out of it, you have to go within and allow yourself to be in the unknown. And the unknown is where all the gifts are, guys, because within the unknown is really more of who we are. There's no like boogie monster. We've been taught in the darkness, like there's a like boogie monster, like a 13th floor, like on a like in a high rise is I don't know, is bad luck. No, we've been pushed away from the things that get us into who we are, to better understand who we are as actual intelligence. And the trick is, we're doing all of this, we're creating all this limitation through our power, and like that's what it really like boils down to. I mean, oh my God, there's so much to talk about, guys. I don't even know like where to start. So like when I awoke, exactly when COVID came, like my husband was on TV, glued to the TV, breaking news after breaking news, like to put on a mask and like COVID and like 6 feet away, and it just didn't resonate with me. And look, I grew up Christian. I've always like prayed for Jesus. I've always prayed for like Mother Mary, and then all of the saints, but I was praying for them as outside of me, as these deities are very separate like than me. And I would wait for them to change my life. I would wait for them like to do this, because I would pray over and over again at night and in the morning. And some good things happen, but for the majority of the time, a lot of things didn't happen. Of course, like you wonder, why isn't this happening? Why am I not receiving like what I am getting? And I like know now is because I separated them like from me. I didn't see them, that they are part of me. I didn't see that I am Jesus, I am Mother Mary, I am Krishna, I am Buddha, I am Taoism, I am all of these deities. It's within me, it's in my heart. And when you begin to remember and re-empower yourself that I am not separate anymore than all these beings that I was brainwashed to think they are, then you begin to tap into all that knowledge that we have like within us, and through that you open up like your world. So so like when COVID came and like my husband was on TV, it just didn't resonate with the idea of fear. I'm like, I'm not gonna live in this reality. I don't care like to wear a mask. And it's not that I didn't like respect other people's fear, but like within myself, I was battling my own mind, and I was battling what I knew in my instinct, what my soul like truly said, and then what the rest of the world on TV like was saying. And everybody was following the herd, or almost everybody, right? Not everyone, but like you have this dialogue, this like internal dialogue of like struggle. Like I know what I know, and I really know it, but yet you see everyone else doing completely different. That's the real test, to trust who you are, to trust the messages, to trust like the telepathy that you're getting, the inner knowing that you're getting with the beings. And I knew nothing about consciousness. I knew nothing about channeling, I knew nothing about aliens, none of it. I was religious, and I was 3D, and I like worked in real estate, and I like, had a few other jobs like everyone else, and I have insecurities and I have issues, and I was molested when I was a child. And like, I grew up in a very poor household, so a lot of 3D things. And then I come across the Gaia channel, and I watched an interview with Extra Dimensionals with Ruben Langdon, and it was like 2 or 3 seasons where it was all about channelers, right? All these humans, Bashar and like a few other people that have been channeling like since the 80s or like 70s, that are talking to these beings. And I became obsessed like with that show, not understanding any of the English words. I mean, sorry, I would understand the English words, but like there was no context. Like I knew nothing. I couldn't understand like what consciousness was for the longest time. I'm like, what is consciousness? I need a concrete thing. I struggled with it. like long story short, after that show, and I think I watched it like 6 or 8 times in like a 2 month period, and then I stopped watching it. All of a sudden, I had these light ships appear in Washington, and I have videos over videos in Washington D.C. Over my house. These actual like light ball, like, as bright and even brighter like than the sun. It was white, white, white. It was rotating, 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 and just moving. And then it would disappear. It would become a big solid like round ball, and then it would disappear. Like they came 3 times in May and in June, and I think I had Debbie Solaris like reading then, and I just knew that it was the mantis beings just like showing them like themselves to me, like through that limited way, right? But now my world has began really shifting, like visually, that like I had no, like I didn't know anything about like UFOs, like nothing about aliens, like let alone having any like experiences. I was over, like I could jump out of my skin. The fact I called my husband, Greg, come, there's a UFO. I went nuts, and I think that excitement just opened me up even further to be able to receive them with love, to receive them with excitement, and like without fear. Anyhow, long story short, I would get called at night, like again, all these telepathic like communication where I know I have to go out at night and like begin filming. I have videos after videos of like V-shaped V-shaped like ships at night with my night vision camera, orbs, amazing orbs, these like fast flying ships, over and over again, where I would know I have to get up at 2 or 3. I would just like wake up and I would go outside and I'd just begin filming, not knowing what's going to happen. But all this is telepathic communication that I'm kind of surrendering like into, as crazy as it sounds, that allowed me like to open up like my world. And then I kind of fell into channeling. I didn't know that I could channel. I thought you had to have like a special gift. I thought you need to come from a special lineage. You need to, this whole like rite, I guess, of passage for years. You had to do this. You have to meditate for 8 hours, blah, blah, blah. And I took one channeling class and I knew immediately the moment that I stopped stuttering, like, and I don't stutter like when I channel, I knew immediately that whatever this is, it's true. And through my hundreds, like if not thousands of like channeled messages, the feedback I would get from clients, the information that I would receive, the full trust and surrender in what I'm getting, whether it is through hearing, like through audit, or through like through visual, through like knowingness, through like seeing through the third eye, but it's not even like the third eye, through like the things that would come through where I would have to surrender. And it's so random, like when I'm channeling, like for people that like the feedback that came back from them gave me like the confirmation that what just happened is telepathy, is communication. So it's really about trusting the messages and the whispers that we're always getting, we always have been getting. All of us can channel, all of us are channels. We're just remembering more of who we are. All of us have telepathy. All of us are energy beings. We're just beginning to push our paradigm, our scope of the focus from like limitation to the unlimitedness of who we are. And I see you, Scott, come here, so I think it's around my time.
It is. But I want to acknowledge that you're really, you're a beautiful role model for us, Toni. You demonstrate that no matter where a person's history is, cultural background, history, personal challenges, with the stuttering, that your willingness to just allow yourself to be, right? To allow and I think that that's a real big part of it, like Peter at the beginning said, we have to ask, we have to open the imagination. And so even though you were molested as a child, even though you've got the stuttering thing, you're still allowing yourself to just be the real you, including talking to insects, right? So it's a beautiful modeling of courage, really. The courage to open our imagination, allow something very magical to happen, even if it's completely outside of the matrix. So thank you for stepping outside of the matrix. And there's a lot of wonderful comments that have come in, by the way. And so stick around because I'm going to ask you some questions when we get to Q&A time.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
And I want to acknowledge there's so much going on in the chat box today. Oh my gosh, I've barely been able to keep up. In fact, I haven't been able to keep up with it. But a couple things. So for Kathy and Kate and Diane, who all have talked about being with Awakening World since, or the Global Peace Tribe since the beginning. What I want to do, I just decided this in the last 20 minutes, is on April 5th, I would love for all of you to share. If any of you are willing to have your camera on and share about your experience of being with us for the last 5 years, I want to really open it up to those of you that have been with us for a long time. So thank you for putting those comments in there. And I'm going to do my best to get to some of the questions that have come in, because we're going to have a really good Q&A period in just a few moments. But I am really, really excited because one of my favorite all-time people that's ever been on our show is back with us. And I think we first had her on for an Authors That We Love show. She is infectious in her personality, as you've already seen. And of course, everybody loves her. But I'll just share a couple things about Corina. And then I know that our beloved Reverend Jeffree has something to say too. But she is a best-selling published author, automatic writer, telepathic receiver, which of course is what we'll probably be talking about tonight, multidimensional seer, consultant, researcher, and guide. And although she doesn't put it in her bio, she's also the mother of three
Four.
My God. They're popping out.
I'm aging backwards.
Keep track. Hey, you know, her book on transference is what we first featured the first time we met you. Corina, it's great to have you back on the show. And here's your pal, Jeffree, who has something he wants to add.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You know, I'm new to the cause of what's going on with the autistic non-speakers, but I am enthusiastic about what is going on. And talk about courage. As I delve deeper into the nature of what they have to go through in this three-dimensional world, and the courage and faith and that it takes, I delved even deeper, and I read the book of Heaven. And this is a powerful, powerful story that will touch you so deeply, you transform you. And it's by Houston, and his mother, Katie, who were big part of this whole telepathy tape and bringing this information out to the world in the Atlanta area, and the detailed story of their struggle. If you want to dive deep into what's going on and choose helping or being part of this consciousness that's going on and the struggle they are to bring this wisdom from these and how they're treated, definitely recommend this book. And one of the things about this is this is coming forward. This is a paradigm shifter beyond anything. And when I was talking to my friend Corina about how this whole thing evolved and why it's coming here, and how destined we are for this to happen, she had written with her book with Edgar Casey, had prophesized in a way who this was in the research coming out. And of us are deeply caring and thinking about what we can do now to support that community and what they're doing. And Corina's amazing for it because she has that beautiful heart. And I'm so glad to thank her for helping me get all this group together and really help us understand us neuronormals like I am.
Thank you. Oh, this is wonderful. I'm glad everybody's here, and I'm just so appreciative to everyone. And I think Toni nailed it when he said surrender into who you are, because that is so deep within each and every one of us. And I think when we do surrender into who we truly are and what we are experiencing, that deep trust of coming out however that is truly inspiring. And for the nonverbal, you know, all the telepathy tapes, it's mind blowing. And Toni was also referencing, you know, there is so much information coming through and it's overwhelming. And I remember when I was a child, I was mute for a while. I did not speak. And I remember I just kept everything inside and I turned to writing and I would write more and more and more. And everybody would always ask me, "Oh, you know, why are you speaking?" And it's like I was overwhelmed. So I was, you know, learning it when I was 5 and then 7 and I started automatically writing, not even knowing it was automatic writing when I was 7. So I've had this whole life of going through all of these trials and not fitting in and feeling so alone and nobody understands me and all of these things. So it's so wonderful that how as we are a community, but sharing more and more of our experiences and being true to ourselves and knowing it's okay. And even though, you know, nonverbal speakers cannot speak, they can speak in other ways, you know, i.e., telepathically and connecting with people, you know, other nonverbal children and adults on the hill. So if you follow the telepathy tapes, it's just extraordinary how it is all coming out more and more into mainstream so we can be more compassionate and be more accepting of all walks of life. And I think that's the prime focus of all of this work and how we can communicate in different ways. I think a lot of people get tripped up on the word telepathy. We're all telepathic and we all it's communication. um, so when I wrote this book in 2019, I started connecting with Edgar Casey, and I didn't even know who he was. And I could see him. I'm very clairvoyant and clairaudient and claircognizant, but I'm also sensory too. I can feel and sense energy. And when I saw him and I connected in with him and he started telepathically communicating with me and asking me to write these 3 books, I was just like, what? You know, but I listened, I trust. And this whole entire book is based on telepathy and how we can dive into it deeper. It's my whole process with my book here, Transference. It's all telepathic communication in a variety of different ways. And there's 28 exercises in this book to learn how. And so it's just fascinating because in 2019 when I was writing the book, entry number 4 is actually called Telepathy. So this was, you know, in April 2nd, 2019, and he goes on to say, I just, you know, was automatically writing everything, and I asked him, I said, well, what is telepathy? Because I wanted a very grounded, clear understanding of, you know, is this what we're doing? You know, I've been telepathic all my life, but we don't really talk about it, right? We don't put that label on it per se, or that word. And I just, you know, when I was a kid, I just thought I could, you know, yeah, go into a room and hear everybody talking like, oh, everybody can do this. Okay, I'm hearing all this stuff and, you know, seeing all this energy. And, you know, I'm just like, oh, that's the norm. And then figured out it wasn't really the norm. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, shrink. It's like, and it took many, many years to come back out. It's like, whoo. Anyway, I wanted to read a little bit because I did ask Edgar, you know, what is telepathy? And this was very, very on point. So, Edgar Casey, it is a stream of consciousness in the ebb and the flow, back and forth within the mind's eye, dialoguing, communication in the flow. It depends upon the frequency, vibration, and other person that the other person is experiencing. A solid matter of streaming consciousness. So he goes on to say, it's another form of communication, and it will connect with you on wherever you're at, right? So whatever frequency you're at, you're going to be connecting with that. But I find this work just so amazing, and every day I utilize it, and every day I'm growing and learning, and I feel like, a kid in a candy store, because it's so amazing to deep dive into it, because we all can do it. And the more we practice it, the more we become more comfortable. We begin to trust ourselves at such a deep level that it's mind blowing, really, And then in entry 4, telepathy, Edgar went on to say how important it was to have Dr. Diane Hensey Powell, her work in this section of the book. I didn't even know who she was at the time, but I kept listening and writing and writing. And so, unbeknownst to me, 6 years later, she was working with nonverbal autistic children and adults, and they were working on the telepathy tapes at the end of 2024. And then it hit 2025, and boom. So, so if we really, really honor ourselves that much and trust ourselves that deeply, look what can transpire. It's so that there was just so many beautiful lessons in this book, and I was so grateful. I'm such in deep gratitude to do this work and to continue to do this work to help other people surrender into who they are and really honor and trust. Um, Debbie helped me out a lot a couple of years ago. She gave me a reading and confirmed so much, because I felt like I was losing it, really. And I just wanted to honor you, Debbie, because I did. I thought when you confirm, I mean, and I didn't really tell you a lot, and you took a deep dive in and confirmed that I was a part of Edgar Casey's soul family, and this is why I can connect so clearly and so easily, and Nikola Tesla, and I was a part of the Elohim family, and things just started just totally coming together, and I felt more at home. I felt more like myself. So thank you. I just
Welcome.
so appreciate the information.
I
And
remembered you got very emotional after our
I
reading.
was like, "Whoa." I mean, really, seriously. And there's things that you told me that I have never told a soul. And I don't want to cry, but I just, it's people like this when they come into your life and they clarify something that you've never told anybody. And they feel like, this is part of the telepathy tapes as well. These nonverbal children and adults, they can't speak, but they can speak in other ways. And I think it's just so important when, we have more compassion
Mhm.
for all of our amazing gifts, because we all have them, and to have them come out more and more, I think is just a beautiful thing. So thank you for your work, Debbie, and thank you for your wonderful friendship, because I just love you. So
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. No, I feel blessed to have you in my life, and living so close to me too is such a blessing.
That was another one too. It's like, oh, well, you're right there.
Yeah,
So
right,
yeah,
right in your backyard. Yeah.
right. So thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wow,
Ah,
beautiful. Ah, thank you. We're going to get into Q&A in a moment, because there's a lot of questions that have come in. I'm going
yeah.
to read some of the comments from our audience, but I want to let people know how you can get more of Corina. And her website is trinehealing.com. That's
Mhm.
TRINE healing.com. Definitely make sure you put in your name and your email address, because we all want to stay connected to Corina and confirm. Oh, it's one of these things.
I know, so
We
sorry. I
do
thought it was
all the
deleted.
things, and then I don't. I never know. Are you supposed to make it is it case sensitive or not?
I don't think so, but
No. Okay. Well, now I have to confirm my subscription. Confirm I'm not I am not a
You're not a
robot.
robot.
But good things are happening on her website, I can assure you, once you get past the robotic testing. And Debbie, it's amazing how almost every person tonight has talked about, in the beginning, there was Debbie Solaris, and it was good.
I'm
You
the
know,
activator.
And it was really, really good.
yeah, I mean, you were like
He's
the
the
central
galactic
organizing
historian.
principle here. I'm going to bring on all your fans. Look at all these people that really, they all have mentioned how you were like a significant part of their
And Peter too.
their
Peter was
process.
also,
I'm trying to find Peter. There he is.
yeah.
Yeah, all of you. It's been amazing. So
Yeah.
all hail Debbie Solaris.
Seriously, yeah. I'm like, she's the galactic historian. She is. I mean, it's just, you are.
Oh, I guess I'm good for something besides
You're
being a
good for
troublemaker.
many, many, many things.
Good for many
The
things. Anyway,
clarification is amazing.
He
it's
actually
beautiful.
transformed my sense of self.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Debbie. Thank you for helping
I'm
this.
losing my
all these
I'm
amazing-
losing my voice because I spoke so much today.
Okay.
But thank
Well,
you.
we're going to be back with all these wonderful people and your questions and answers. So please put the questions back into the chat box again, just because there are too many there for me to go back and try and find everybody. I've got a few in my brain, but pop your questions back in again. And to integrate just all this wonderful wisdom and knowledge, we are going to turn it over to Theo. Hey, buddy.
Hey. Wow, that was so awesome. Thanks just for the beautiful journey. It's just hearing you speak about it just tunes all of us into our intuition and trusting that we all have this gift, and you're the kind of way showers, and Debbie like really leading the path with the torch, and so thank you. And this song, I was actually reminded that this is probably the one song, it's actually called The One Song, that I can confidently say that channeled through me like a rushing torrent. And I was just barely able to keep up with everything rushing through. And as they say, it's much better to be in the music than talk about music. So I'm just going to share this song. It's called The One Song, and it's everything we're talking about. We are the seeds of the earth, in the midst of a rebirth. We are the young and the old, and the story's not yet told. We've come from afar, beyond the stars, and we've come to celebrate everything we are. And so we pray for the end of slavery. We pray for the end of suffering. We pray for the end of all the fighting. Finally, 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 I declare everyone, everywhere, be set free from the fear and the pain and the shame we release. No longer prisoners in our very own minds. No longer struggling and fighting to survive. We revive to find the keys within our reach, and now we thrive, sharing everything we need. We are free from the poverty. There's no more need for scarcity. There's more than enough for you and me, just like the air we breathe in, and breathe out those stale emotions that just need some good old-fashioned composting. Yeah, break it back down into earth, 'cause everybody here knows how to have a rebirth. You throw a seed in the mother fertile dirt, and watch the life, give life, give life, give life, give life, giving life. 'Cause there is only one event here, and it's clear. Once you can hear the one song, some call it the universe. We're all singing the one song. We're all singing the you and I verse. Some call it God, all that is, was, or will ever be, whatever it is. I know that it's within you and me, so we're gonna party straight into infinity, so you can shout hip hop, hooray, yee-haw, and wee all at the same time. We shine in the divine mind, which makes all of your struggle and sorrow connected to mine. So bust open those judgments with patience. Pour some love and understanding into the painful places, 'cause we're healing it. Yeah, we're gonna decompose our we're gonna rearrange and reintegrate every single way we live by synergizing new art, making sparks in the dark with the fire in our heart bursting into who we are. Do you ever feel like you're about to collapse and explode? Well, that's the perfect curve of the divine ratio. So fold into the twinings and spiralings of a golden old yet fresh new moment, ready to love and behold you like a newborn baby in his grandpa's arms, in the light just arriving from a distant star. It's everywhere we are once we look, even in a simple complex melody and hook called the one song. Some call it the universe. We're all singing the one song. We're all singing the you and I verse. Well, here's the last verse, but it really just keeps on going. And the one thing that never ever stops flowing is awareness. Are you aware of it? It's never left, never will, always full and always still, and it's amazing. Eternally unchanging, holding every single thing we can possibly imagine in our experience, sinking just under the surface as we open these moments up, and dance as much as you can. Trust in the divine, it's perfect like you and I. Dance as much as you can. Trust in the design, it's perfect like you and I. All we're saying is we can say yes. All we're saying is we can say yes to the one song. Say yes to the universe. Say yes to the one song. Say yes to the you and I verse. It goes on and on and on and on and on. On and on and on and on and on. On and on and on and on and on. On and on and on and on and on and on and oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Ooh.
Wow.
Keep on
Let's
singing.
give a big twinkle to Theo. What a beautiful song, beautiful vision, beautiful man, beautiful being. Thank you so much, Theo.
Thank you, Scott. It's beautiful to be here.
I want to share a couple of very important links. First of all, for his music, his website is ntheomusic.com, ENTHEO, ntheomusic.com. And that's where you can subscribe for his releases and get all sorts of wonderful things. But I also really want to direct everybody to his Patreon page. And some of you have heard me make this speech before, and I'm going to make it again. It is so important for us to support our musical artists. it's impossible. I mean, selling records, selling CDs, those days are over. Artists can't make money that way. And so it's really up to us to support our favorite artists. And most of them do it through Patreon. And so Theo also has a Patreon. And as you all know, I support Kristen Hoffman, Louisa Stowe, so many of our favorite musical artists through Patreon. And I know some of you do too. So go to patreon.com/and Music. Already logged in, and you'll see where you can come in at different membership options. I'm going to join at the $25 a month level right now.
Thank you.
Because I just so appreciate this guy. And I'm going to do that right now, but I don't want to use my PayPal information. So, but thank you so much, Theo. Thank you. A lot of comments coming into the chat box about what you have to have what you shared. So thank you very, very much. Dr. Laura says, Theo, that was a great song. And I really loved the humor too. And yes, we must dance as much as we can. And DR said, ad infinitum, absolutely.
And channel.
And channel and open up our telepathic. So stick around. I'm going to kind of bring everybody up right now because this is where we're going to have a chance to do a little Q&A. So I'm bringing up our different guests as I can find them. Got a lot of people in the Zoom room tonight, which is wonderful. There's Peter. And by the way, Dana Tomasino, I'm going to bring her up now. She is going to conclude our evening with an amazing series of experiences, a meditation, music, celebrating water. So that's going to be, stick around for that. I think I've brought up all of our people. Oh, there's one other person who some of you might have noticed on the poster, who's very telepathic. In fact, she's my #1 teacher of telepathy, and that's Jasmine Bear. And she really is, I want to acknowledge our animals because they are so telepathic. There'll be so many times that she's either in her bed down there or on the bed, my big bed by my side. And I'll be wrapping up with someone and I won't be using languaging like goodbye. I won't be saying any verbal cues, but within about 30 seconds before it's over, she'll get up and she'll be ready. She'll know that I'm wrapping up what I'm going to do. Or I'll just think, oh, I should take her for a walk in a minute. Like I'll be just working on my computer and I'll just think I should do for a walk. She'll get up and she'll be like ready. She is listening. She's tuned in. And so I just want to acknowledge our animal friends. And if I'm curious if any of you have anything to say about telepathy and connecting with our animal family that way.
I'll jump in quickly. Oh, you mean, did you mean us or did you mean the audience? Sorry.
No, you, the audience, those of you on camera, our presenters.
Yeah. So I had 5 dogs. Now we have 4 dogs. And like one of them, I mean, of course we connect with all of them. Like one of them, I literally know when he's hungry. I literally know, like he looks at me and I could see there's communication through the eyes. It's the best way that I can describe. There's this flow of information. I know exactly what he wants. And now recently I've been talking to birds, which is kind of insane, and squirrels and even like bees have been coming and landing on me. I had 3 bees land on my, like it's crazy. And I used to be afraid of insects when I was a child. So, if you begin to see the animals, like quote unquote, beyond animals, that their consciousness, their light being, their ascended masters, they are part of you, they are another facet of you, then you begin to experience a very different relationship with them than it's it's just an animal, like a complete different physical like being. When they aren't, we're all interconnected. Again, we only experience the world of separation because of our lens, right? So when you retweak that lens and say, you know what, although I'm experiencing this as separate, I know, like fully, like within myself, we are one. Then the magic begins happening, and you have all these cool dialogues and experiences.
I had an experience one time where I didn't think I was an animal communicator. And a woman called me and said, "You work with dogs?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." But she said, "Well, my dog broke his leg." I'm on the phone with her. I said, "Oh, you mean that front right one?" And she said, "Oh, yeah, that's the right one." And then I said, "Well, I guess you're meant to bring him over." And she came with her husband, and the dog has a cast on his leg. And I'm looking at the dog, and I don't know this couple, they're brand new. And I said to the dog, "So what's up? What's going on here?" And he said, "I had to do it." I said, "What do you mean you had to do it?" He said, "It's the only way I could figure out to keep this couple together, my owners together." And I said, "Well, let me tell them what you're saying." And I said, "Well, the dog broke his leg intentionally to keep you together." And they said, "That's too bad. We just signed our separation papers this morning." And so I guess I became an animal communicator.
Wow, that's a great story. That's a really great story. I want to acknowledge a lot of the people in our chat box. I'm going to read some of the comments. Connie writes, the shamanic indigenous people speak with the animals, trees, rocks, and they have two-way conversations with them. Wallace Black Elk, Visionary Lakota Elder, and then there's a link that you put into the Zoom room. So thank you for that. Beatrice points out Tesla and his relationships to birds. Jerry Anderson says his dog is preparing for her next life as a human. And Katie points out, definitely my dogs and I connect more than with anyone else. Scotty says, I believe our dogs take us for a walk. Yes, I agree with that, Scotty. Susan Woolbridge, birds visit and bring her messages always. Corina Angelo says there are 44 entries on a variety of subjects and 28 telepathic and healing self-discovery exercises in her book. And the next book is even more in depth about healing. So definitely get her book. And that is a response to Dr. Laura's question to Corina about how her book had recommendations from Edgar Cayce about healing. And, you know, we have had several animal communicators over the years on the show. So that's definitely something that's fun. I want to go back to all of our presenters for a moment, because there was a question about the relationship between telepathy and astral travel. So, Debbie, Corina, I have a feeling you two might have some thoughts about that.
We have lots of thoughts. Just kidding. Go ahead, Debbie.
I can tell you the story I had about astral traveling that it involved my my Native American teacher. So I had a teacher for a few years. Her name was Michelle Manny. She unfortunately is no longer with us in this earth plane, but she was the one that kind of got me started on this whole path after I had my great awakening. But she had a car accident and she had a pretty bad concussion. And so she was having horrible headaches every single day. And she asked me to go into the astral realm to see if I could heal her. And I said, well, I've never done that before, but I'm always up for, a new experience. And so I set the intention that evening, and my cat Piglet was with me, by the way. So we're bringing in the animal component with all of this, but my cat Piglet was with me, and I said, okay, Piglet, we're going to go astral travel to help Michelle. And Piglet knew Michelle, and because we did a lot of presentations, and Piglet was always a part of those presentations. So I used to bring her everywhere. She was kind of like my She was sort of like she was a therapy animal. She was actually a registered therapy animal, but she was also my emotional support animal sometimes. But so I went to sleep and I had an experience where the first part of the astral travel, I do remember that Piglet and I, we were on board a Galactic Federation ship, and there was some beings on this ship that looked humanoid, and they were all wearing light blue jumpsuits. And I kept telling Piglet, I think this is the wrong ship. And Piglet said, yes, we got the wrong coordinates. So then I woke up and I saw Piglet on my bed, and I said, oh, we got to go back. So I fell asleep again and astral traveled to the right ship where I saw this healing pod. It was a smaller ship, but it was this healing pod. And I saw the astral aspect of my teacher. And I said, Piglet, I don't know the right the right coordinates or the right connection for, to heal Michelle. And Piglet said, I know what to do. My cat went in there, started adjusting the knobs on this healing pod. And then we left the ship, and I woke up and I was back in my bed. And the very next day, Michelle called me and said, what did you and Piglet do in the astral realm? Because this is the first morning in months that I woke up and didn't have a headache. And she didn't have any headaches ever since. So there you go. There's the animal connection, the telepathy, the astral
That's
travel.
great.
That
So
was impressive how you pulled all that together, Debbie.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know what I mean. I was just kind of going by the seat of my pants with this one because I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but it ended up working, and
There you go.
it helped my teacher and my friends. So that was the most important
Awesome.
thing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think in general, animals have so much to teach us. I mean,
Yeah.
my soul dog passed away a few years ago, and she was with me, what, 7 years, over 7 years. She taught me so much. But I remember as a little child, I grew up on a farm, and I would be with the cows. And when they had babies, I would always be around the baby calves. But this one in particular time, I was in the barn and I would take naps as a 5-year-old in the barn with the newborn calf and the mom. And there was some energy, unbeknownst to me, that was transferring. There was a transference of energy and a transference of information from the cows. And it was instilled in my body, and I remember just being so in love with animals and so connected with animals after that. And you know how a child, sees a kitten and they're like, my grandparents would be like, please don't hurt the kitten, because I loved them so much. I just wanted, just like absorb them. And I had to learn to be, more gentle, because I was so excited and filled with so much love being around animals. But I think they're very healing. They help you so much. And, astral traveling after that, I think it really opens up different dimensions, different ways, different frequencies that you can connect into. Of course, if, you're meditating or in dream time or however you're astral traveling, I think that there's a variety of different ways that we can utilize all these amazing tools that are accessible to all of us. And I think it's, surrendering again into who we truly are and what we're curious about, and what works and what doesn't work, and if something doesn't work, try something else. I think I've done that the majority of my life, and just being wildly curious and open and surrendering into whatever that tool is, or this experience is, or just be wildly curious, and if it works, it works, and fantastic. So yeah.
Beautiful. Reverend Jeffree has a question for you.
Okay. Hi, Jeffree. Long time no talk.
Yeah, really. Well, I hope you don't mind, but we're talking astral travel.
Yeah.
And understand you had a vacation in Saturn recently.
Oh, Lord, yeah. Oh,
And
yes, I did. That was wild.
visiting
Wild.
distant relatives, if I understand it. You were visiting some distant relatives. And I just think that is so amazing about what our potential is. If you'd like to share that,
Yeah, yeah.
I would
So
have.
talk about surrendering. So when I go into deep trance meditation, I'm just open with love, and there's no intention. There's no excuse me, I've been talking a lot too today. Yeah. There's no intention, there's no, questioning. There all of a sudden I'm just there. And I actually started out in the Akashic Records, and I met the keeper of my Akashic Records. And sometimes you can read your own and sometimes you can't. But this time allowed me to open up to book 12. And as I opened it, I automatically was transported to the Saturn rings. So I'm literally in the veils of the Saturn ring with Nikola Tesla. And I'm like, what are we doing? He's like, oh. And so he showed me. So I've traveled with Nikola for the last, I don't know, 4 years now, on a pretty often. Anyway, so we were together, and he was showing me how there's different vortexes within the rings, and they weren't made out of what we actually know, as today, ice and all of that. It was vibration. You could actually travel through. So anyway, he took me through this opening, and we ended up in this magnificent place with these beautiful beings. There was 12 10-foot tall, six on each side, six beings on here, six beings on this side. But there were plasma. They were this beautiful, like crystallized, it was just so even hard to describe it. It looked like sparkles and starlight all woven into this beautiful plasma. And they had the beautiful eyes, huge eyes, very galactic plasma beings, I guess you want to say. And they had so much love that it was hard to breathe. Like literally, something came into my body and helped me breathe, because I couldn't breathe. It was that like immense. And I'm looking at Nicola, I'm like, what is this? And he's just like smiling. And then there was this path of this same material of plasma. And we were just walking on this path. And then in front of us, the mantis beings were there. I'm like, okay. And they've come in several times, but I just love them because they're just so beautiful and angelic. But they were showing me how caterpillars enzymes, so they went in and showed me in intricate detail how the enzymes coordinated with this type of plasma that apparently is not here on this earth yet. So it was just wild. But as I came back into my physical body, I stopped breathing, and it was scary because I was that far out that it was hard to transition back into my body. And something came in and helped me do the shaman, the heartbeat. And I was like, and something just took over and helped me breathe. But then when I opened my physical eyes and I was back in my body, I burst out into tears. I was so overwhelmed because it was so amazing and just out of this world. So
Wow.
that was the experience.
Uh,
Thanks, Jeffrey, for bringing that up, because I'm still processing and actually writing about it because it was just so, whew, yeah.
It's about astral travel, so I had to bring
There
that
you
up.
go. That's the astral travel story. So one of them.
all
What?
right. Well, I'm gonna bring our presenters up one last time, and then we're gonna swing over to Dana Tomasino, who's got a really, really special series of experiences, I think, planned for us. But a big thank you to these amazing presenters. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for helping us to, you're all positive role models, really, for what's possible. And let's stay in touch. I hope all of you will be back on the awakening world as we continue to all awaken together. And let's all now drop into honoring World Water Day through, again, one of our dear Global Peace Tribe friends, Dana Tomasino. Dana? And Dana seems to be frozen. Hello, Dana. Oh, that's funny.
You know, Scott, I was frozen earlier, and there's so much energy happening, so it makes sense.
Yeah, well,
Oopsie.
Dana, come back and play. You know what I can do if she doesn't show up in a minute or two? She did send a video. It's her water prayer. And so what I will do is I've got it all queued up, and we may just need to show that while she kind of comes together. Okay. Well, we're gonna watch the video. So here we go. Here is a beautiful meditation for us. It's 7 minutes long, everybody. I want to make sure that I clicked optimize sound. Yep, I did. Water is the mirror that has the ability to show us what we cannot see. And I'm going to see if I can go back and read the rest.
Keep going, Scott, because there's a little bit more.
Well, hang on. I want to read that because there wasn't time. So I'm going to read it. Water is the mirror that has the ability to show us what we cannot see. It is a blueprint for our reality, which can change with a single positive thought. All it takes is faith if you're open to it. And now I'll continue. My prayer for humanity is that we come to know and understand water as an advanced multidimensional consciousness, an intelligent, energetic communication network and bridge between heaven and earth. And this, of course, was created by the wonderful Dana Tomasino, who hopefully is going to have a good internet connection now with us. Hi, Dana.
Aloha, aloha, and happy World Water Day. And sorry for the technical difficulty. It was so interesting because my video was absolutely fine until you called me, and then it froze up. And I was having a few technical difficulties a little bit earlier when I was doing some tests, and I was talking telepathically to the planet Mercury. And I was saying, hey, Mercury, even though you're in retrograde at the moment, why don't you actually help us and support us in communicating our message today? Be on our side, so I was really rallying Mercury to come and help us. So let's stay with that energy for the rest of it. And my water prayer video, which we just viewed, I actually created exactly 1 year ago for World Water Day of 2024. So it's a nice coming full circle. And I've been doing a lot with developing my sacred sound work since then. And water prayer was really intended as a multi-dimensional sonic and visual journey into the consciousness of water, and really meant to honor water and our connection to it.
Well, thank you so much for doing that. And I want to let people know how they can support you. And Dana has a GoFundMe. The two best ways to support people is through Patreon, like we are doing for Theo tonight, or through GoFundMe. And tell us a little bit about when people donate to your GoFundMe, what's the money going to be used for, Dana?
Oh, well, I actually have some brand new ideas and visions on the horizon for projects that will work with sound in water. So I'm really developing my sacred sound work. I'm taking it to another level. And I'll share a little bit more as we go into the meditation. But one of the things that I want to do with sound and water is work with sacred sound in the ocean to energize and uplift the oceanic grid networks, which we're going to work with in a few minutes in the meditation. So actually working with sound in the ocean. And that's one big project. And the other one is a new vision and idea that I've had for a venue called the Aquadome. And the Aquadome is a dome-shaped venue, and it's meant as a sacred center for sound, healing, light, color, geometry, all coming together in an immersive experience. And I had this vision while traveling in Thailand and also taking an aquatic therapy course there. So what this dome will have, it's a big dome, it will have a big pool of warm water where we can do aquatic therapy and sound healing both in the water and also around the water. And it will have a network of geometrically arranged speakers, both surrounding and also underwater, so that we can have what I'm calling geometric sound. And I'll develop that idea and explain that a bit more as we go on with this project. And then it's also surrounded by LED projection in a 360 degrees so that you can have the sonic experience and also be surrounded with like landscapes of color, of geometry, and also the lead projection will go onto the pool of water, so it's a totally immersive experience using sound in water and the color and the light and the geometry. So that's my aquadome vision, and I know that both of these projects I've mentioned will take some significant funding and hopefully benefactors. And if you know anybody that might like to collaborate in any way, I'm very open to that. But meanwhile, any level of financial support can help me to develop these ideas further, to seek the larger funding, and also just to focus more on my sacred sound work. So thank you so much for supporting that. And I'm also offering private sessions in my sacred sound and energy work. It's an equinox special to receive an energetic attunement and sonic attunement via Zoom. And I'm offering that if you book the session this month to move into the new season. It's only $44 via Zoom. And that information is on my Heart Magic page. And if you're interested to know more, you can contact me. So I'm hoping that you'll take advantage of the offer and receive. I work with divine energies, and there's a lot of support for my healing work from sources of light that are well beyond me, and it's always for your highest wholeness healing and continued evolution. And the sound carries the same high vibrational divine energy to really open, to clear, to reattune, and to really receive an energetic upgrade. That's what it really is. So that's something that I'm offering currently if you'd like to work more with me.
And again, kind of last thing, and then we'll get into the meditation, but you can find her Heart Magic page on Facebook. So if you go to facebook.com/Dana Heart Magic, and that's where you'll find her page, and you can learn more about her offerings and the ways you can support her. And hopefully Mercury will keep our communication channel open as you lead us in a closing meditation.
And also just to mention, I have a YouTube channel. I welcome subscriptions. It's Dana Tomasino 22 on YouTube, and the water prayer videos on there, as well as some of my others. And I'll be posting a lot more there soon. So I'll put all of that information in the chat after we finish.
I already did, Dana. I've already done that, Dana.
Okay, great. So so water. I am here tonight to represent water, and let me just say I really enjoyed all of the other presenters' perspectives on telepathy and their experiences. It was a really, really amazing show. And Theo, I really loved your sonic infusion for the pineal gland and all those sonic layers. I loved that, and your song about the universe, and the one song that was amazing, an amazing download. So thank you everyone for your contributions. Mahalo. So water for me has been really a lifelong passion to understand deeper what water is and what its nature is really. And I see water as an advanced consciousness, as a multidimensional encoder, transmitter, and translator of energetic patterns of information. And I see water as a bridge between dimensions, really linking different dimensional scales of reality better.
Dana, unfortunately, you're breaking up.
Just share if I can.
Dana, your screen's frozen and you're breaking up a little bit. Can you try, if you haven't already, closing all the other programs on your computer? Because I think it's a low internet bandwidth issue.
I did mainly do that, except for the things that I needed. But let me just. I'm just trying to shape my screen to show you some images.
Yeah, right now we're not. You're frozen. It's a beautiful image of you. You look quite beautiful. So we're grateful for that. Reverend Jeffree is clapping. Um, I think while you do that, while you wind down,
Thank you.
I'm going to let people know about a couple of things, because people know about our upcoming shows. So while you try and maybe get that together, Dana, I want to let people know about what's coming up next week, because I'm really excited about both of the shows that we've got planned. On Wednesday night, again, it's another edition of Authors That We Love, and it's a really special one. Marguerite Rigoglioso is coming back onto the show. She's generally regarded as one of the great scholars when it comes to both Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary. And her new book is called The Secret Life of Mother Mary. And she goes into the relationship between Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene. So when Marguerite asked me if she could be on the show to introduce this new book, I immediately thought of Eden, because of course Eden's a dear friend who's also very involved in Mary Magdalene work. And so Eden will be co-hosting and asking questions, and it's going to be a really, really special show. And I got to tell you, they sent me a copy of the book. I've started to read it, and it's fascinating. The Secret Life of Mother Mary. And we'll be reading excerpts from the book, and Marguerite, the author, will be with us on Wednesday night. And Carol just wrote, I read that book, and it's very profound. So thank you for Carol for sharing that. So if Carol says it's profound, we know we can trust Carol. Carol's knows what she's doing. And then a week from tonight, Saturday night, is our monthly Soul Search program. And so, of course, Tangela and her merry band of soul searchers will be with us. And we have a very special musical guest. Omar Shah will be back next Saturday night. He'll be back on Wednesday night also. But he met this gentleman when he was in Japan. Remember, Omar Shah was in Japan with Unity Earth. And he met Kenta Hayashi, who's going to come on live and play with us. So we have a very special musical guest artist next week. And then we'll have psychic readings from Charlie Lanson, Dr. Sonia Desai, Galaxy Starburn, Mary Radecki, and we're going to meet the Laughing Swami. He's a new friend of Tangela's, and he'll be with us. So, and they're going to be coming to us live from a meditation center in Santa Monica. So this is going to be a really, really fun show next Saturday night. So hope you can join us. And that's what we've got coming up. And let's see if Dana is back. I admitted her back into the room. There she is. Hi, Dana.
Hello, I'm back. Okay, so let's continue. So water is an advanced consciousness, an encoder, transmitter, and translator of energetic information. I see it as a bridge between dimensions. And I will try to share my screen. There have been many scientists that have now acknowledged that we know almost nothing about water. And I really agree. And lately I've been thinking a lot about the ocean. The ocean contains 97% of the world's water. And if water is indeed an energetic communicator, as we know it to be, imagine the depth and the scope of energetic communication that's occurring in the ocean. I really see the ocean as a master communication network on Earth that transmits encoded patterns of energetic information, carrying that message throughout the whole Earth and thereby informing consciousness on the planet. And, you know, we talk a lot about the Earth's energetic grid system, but most of that discussion is focusing on PowerPoints and ley lines that are based on land. However, with the ocean comprising so much of the Earth's surface, we would have to realize that most of the Earth's energetic grid network must lie in the ocean. So we know very little about this oceanic network, but I believe our friends, the cetaceans, the dolphins and whales, who we've also heard from in this show, really tap into that network consistently and inform it with their energy and especially with their sound. And we can actually do the same. And in this meditation that I will now lead, we will tap into the oceanic grid network and radiate a message of universal unconditional love, the energy of universal unconditional love from our hearts into the oceanic grid to uplift and elevate and raise the vibration of this entire grid network that sends that information out throughout the whole earth, impacting planetary consciousness. And then I will also use some sound in the meditation to bring in certain frequencies of light that we'll work with. We're going to radiate unconditional love in the form of waves of liquid light of different colors. And then at the very end, we'll have a sacred sound infusion of about 4 minutes where we can go into the experience in a deeper level and really use that time and the sonics to anchor and expand all the energies we've been putting out into the networks. So let's go ahead and do that. And we can envision the whole oceanic network becoming alive and glowing with all of these beautiful energies of liquid light that we'll be transmitting together. I'll just prepare the music for the meditation. Okay, so let's go ahead. If you can hear me. One thing that if you do have headphones or earbuds, I highly recommend tuning into the sacred sound using headphones or earbuds because you will have a much fuller immersive experience. Can you hear me? Yes, okay.
Yes, we can hear you, although you are frozen again.
Well, let's close our eyes anyway because we're going to go into a meditative space now. So let's close our eyes, focusing on our hearts. And let's take some nice deep breaths, breathing in through the heart and breathing out through the heart. And breathing in and breathing out. And let's bring into our hearts beautiful feelings of love and appreciation. And allowing those feelings to fill our heart space. And let's radiate those feelings of love and appreciation out into our heart fields. The energetic fields of our heart that surround us. Envisioning our heart field glowing with the beautiful energy of love and appreciation. And as we fill our heart fields with love and appreciation, let's emanate those frequencies, those energies out into the heart fields of all of those here present in this circle, envisioning our heart fields joining and merging together to create one amplified, coherent heart field, which will be the sacred container for our planetary work tonight, amplifying our intentions. And now from this sacred space of our amplified, coherent heart field, let's connect with our soul essence, the eternal part of ourselves that emanates pure, universal, unconditional love. And let's simply emanate that energy of pure, universal, unconditional love to water. The water within us and all water on the planet. Allowing water to receive our intention and message. And being aware and conscious of what we receive back from water. And now let's turn our attention to the ocean, a master energetic communication network on Earth. Let's send this frequency of universal unconditional love into the oceanic grids, seeing them light up as it receives our energies. Now we'll call in different frequencies of higher dimensional liquid light. Let's start with infusing a golden liquid light, seeing this golden light flow into the oceanic grids. The golden light reflects energy from Source, Prime Creator, solar energy, the warmth of the sun, the great central sun. Seeing the oceanic networks light up with this golden frequency of liquid light. Now let's call on a beautiful frequency of rose gold liquid light, connected to the divine feminine, to the energy of compassion, to the beings of compassion, to the highest vibration of compassion that exists in this universe. We see this rose gold liquid light flowing into the oceanic grids like a liquid silk, like a healing balm for all of the suffering that exists on the planet. Melting density, transmuting pain and suffering with the purest frequency of compassion. See this rose gold light flowing into the oceanic grid network, and the ocean carrying this beautiful message throughout our planet, reaching all beings. And finally, we connect with a frequency of silver white crystalline liquid light, connected with the angelic realm, with the Elohim, with angelic beings, with beings of high consciousness, and connected with the crystalline nature of water itself. Let's send these frequencies of silver white, crystalline light into the oceanic grids, purifying, rarefying, elevating, uplifting consciousness to a new octave of love, peace, connection, source connection, awareness, transformation. Seeing and experiencing the ocean networks light up with all of these frequencies of liquid light, carrying our universal, unconditional love. Let's maintain this vision and connection and intention as we now go into a sacred sound infusion, using the sonics to further anchor and expand our energetic intentions. Let's just continue to hold the frequencies as I prepare the next piece. Thanks for your patience as my computer is still moving a little bit slow. Okay, we're getting there. As we conclude this meditation and sound infusion, let's connect our soul essence with the soul essence of water, with the intention that water continue to inform us about its nature, about its essence, and that we can advance this relationship, our relationship with the advanced consciousness that exists all around us, that is water. And we intend this for all beings. Mahalo ke koa.
Very good gallery view. Let's all give lots of love and twinkle and appreciation to Dana for your beautiful voice, beautiful meditation, beautiful images, and most of all, beautiful intentions. Thank you so very much, Dana. And a reminder that we can support Dana by going to her GoFundMe, which I hope you all will do. I did I contributed myself, and I hope that you'll also contribute. And again, it's in the chat box, or if you're on Facebook, just go to GoFundMe and put in Dana Tomasino, and she will pop right up for you. There it is. Oh, I just joined 31 other donors.
Thank you, Scott. Really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for your support. And thank you for your participation in the energetic planetary work we just did. It really makes a difference when we come together in that way to work for the planet. So, mahalo.
Oh, thank you very much, Dana. Thank you so much. All right, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you to all of our presenters one last time. Amazing music with Theo Grace and Toni and Corina, Reverend Jeffree, who made it all happen, Peter, Debbie Solaris. In the beginning, there was Debbie Solaris, and from there, Debbie begat Toni, and Debbie begat Corina, and Debbie begat Peter. It's kind of quite biblical, you are, Debbie. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. Tomorrow's Sunday. Remember, we can make a sacred Sunday by seeing the divine in all. And I certainly see the divine in all of you. Look forward to seeing you next Wednesday night. It's going to be a very powerful show. Have a great weekend. Much love, everybody, and good night. I'll go to gallery view one last time. Oh, you know what? We're not done. While we're on gallery view, we've been doing more and more prayer work because there are members of our Global Peace Tribe family that we want to remember in prayer. So in a moment, I'm going to put the spotlight on Corina, who we want to support her son. I also want to just acknowledge that our beloved Sylvia is still with us. She's still in her body and appears to be beginning to come back. It seems like she's coming back to us. So please keep Sylvia in your thoughts and your prayers. And Corina, I'm going to put the spotlight on you for you to share a little bit about what's going on with you and your family, and then we'll put our Global Peace Tribe of an attention with you.
Breathe. My third son tried to take his life a week and a half ago, and he filled up the bath water in the bathtub, got his clothes off, went into the bath, and had the hairdryer plugged in right there, and went to grab it and go to electrocute himself. And the only thing that stopped him was the thought of me. He got out of the bath, dressed himself, and called me. And I said, please come. And he came over to my house. And he was just crying and sobbing. And he's 17. And, there's so much going on, and emotions and depression and all of and it can spiral. And I just sat there and listened to him and held his hand and watched him cry and cried with him. And I think when we express ourselves, we can help so many people in the world not have to go through those horrible traumas, because when we don't talk to our friends or family or children on a daily basis, you have no idea what can transpire in 1 second. And you don't know the pain that other people go through. So thank you. We're getting him help, and he's going to be getting the help that he so needs and wants. And yeah, so thank you for your prayers and going out to everybody. I mean, we just don't know what people are going through, the struggles, the hardships, and to just keep everybody in your heart, and because it'll uplift so many in the world. So thank you.
Dana, what's your son's name? What's your son's name?
Rylan.
Rylan.
Yeah.
All right, so maximum grace for Rylan and his beloved mother, Corina.
Thank you.
Maximum grace and maximum grace for all beings that are needing physical, emotional, or spiritual support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corina.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your prayers. Thank you for being with us. It was another beautiful, beautiful show. And much love. Have a wonderful, sacred Sunday. And I hope to see you all soon. Good night.